protect me.
All the resources available in this country has to come together at this time to see how best we can move forward. The interest of Nigeria is paramount.
Standpoint.
Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM.
More Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian.
That's right.
Very good morning to you. It is the second day in the month of February 2024. You're welcome to Standpoint, the center of all talks of politics. Today, Friday, being the last edition for this week. It will be an interesting session today. As we'll be looking at a certain matter that has been going the other way around, aside the fact that it's been a good concept, but how it has been handled in our country, Nigeria, at this point in time is questionable because we are not actually feeling the impact of this program. But that will be much later on the program. We have other issues we want to look at quickly before we delve into that discussion this morning. My name is Moses Ben. So you stay glued to your radio set. Incorruptible Sam, our in-house analyst. You're welcome to Standpoint.
Yeah, good morning to you, Moses Ben. Good to be here actually. 2nd of February. The month definitely we do better than what January did, and we hope.
Did January do you anything bad? What did January do?
It didn't, but inside January we actually saw a lot happen in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, none happened to me directly, but you know, when your brother is actually been affected, one way or the other, you are also partaking from that. Then look at Plateau State, what happened there. Ekiti State, what happened there. Even Abuja, still not where people will comfortably sit and do their business. We got a report yesterday that businesses in Abuja are collapsing daily because both the sellers and the buyers are not comfortable doing business again. So all this happened in January. January is not a bad month, but in Nigeria, because of our inability to pay attention to things, it became so difficult. But I hope February, if our leaders actually wake up to do their job. I'm happy to be here once again. Incorruptible Sam, that's my name.
All right, talking about January, exactly a lot happened in terms of security situation in the country,
exactly.
Which we did not anticipate. But I've noticed something about our security agencies. At the moment, talks are on. Security heads of states are having meetings from time to time since this issue came out from Abuja. And then it's better at this point we try to show that proactiveness, not until issues of crimes, security breakdown occur. That is when you stand up to show seriousness in most of those cases. So we expect a lot to happen. The Senate has summoned the security heads, the security service chiefs. Also in different states where these menace have taken place already, the governors have met with security heads also to ensure that they nip this issue in the bud. But yesterday, the governor of Abia State held a media parley, what he does every month.
Exactly.
Yeah, he meets with the press to share and then answer questions as well from them. He said something quite critical yesterday, and then I liked it when he mentioned that we are on top of the matter with regard to the abduction of the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Abia State University, Uturu. He said that efforts have been on to ensure the release of him, that very soon he would get reunited with his family, and then that issue would be handled. He didn't divulge the steps that have been taken already because he said this is a security issue. We must not tell the public so that the criminals, those who carry out this act, will not go ahead of them. That was the position of the governor yesterday, Sam.
And well, it's nice actually when the governor of a state is actually involved. For me, it makes sense. If he's aware of whatever that is happening, and due to security reasons, they don't want to come out to make it open yet. I don't have any problem with that. But when I will have problem, or when I do have a problem, is actually when even the governor of a state is just there, talking, just like Plateau State. I can't stop mentioning the that state. The governor is just there, not showing us anything that he is actually doing. Today he will declare curfew. The next day he will say the curfew has actually been will be stopped, and because the insecurity is no longer there. The next day he's now shouting of what he will do to the security, to the those actually causing insecurity in his state. But I love the Abia State Governor Alex Oti, deeply involved in whatever that is happening, and I love that he is doing very, very well. I'm talking about this media briefing monthly. This is another wise thing that he actually decided to do. Every last day of the month, or what is it? Is even every first day of the month?
It could be either the last day or
the first day
he
of
must
the month.
ensure that he missed with the press.
You see him, trying as much as possible to, bring the media people together, have a discussion with them. From there, he will pass some information. From there also, you see him getting some information, because these media guys, just like what we are doing here, somehow we are closer to the people. We get the information from them, and when we go for this meeting, we tell the governor, see, this is what is happening, and I must applaud him. I can't stop saying that. I hope this will not stop, no matter what. It is an avenue of going closer to the people, even when you're not closer to them.
All right, talking about the governor of Abia State being on top of the issue of security in Abia State, in a move to push back the rampaging kidnappers and bandits operating freely across the country. About 15 state governors have assembled no fewer than 52,000, according to report, 106-man vigilante squads to battle the hoodlums. We had Yinka yesterday from Ekiti State, who said that the Amotokun have not been, they've not given them the license, they go ahead, the right for them to have ammunition. That these persons who carry out these nefarious activities, kidnapping, they don't just come ordinary. No. They are well armed, well manned. In case of anything happens, then in a situation where these local vigilante, local security settings, these men have not been given the proper ammunition, they will not be able to fight this issue. So if these governors have come up to say, okay, let us by this means, since we are still agitating for state policing, try to put up local security in order to fight this crime. How equipped, how prepared are they is another issue. Will they be able to fight these people who come out from time to time unknowingly to carry out these acts? That is the big question at this point, Sam.
Definitely, it's actually a big question, but if at all, we need to start that. I think when we have our vigilantes working, maybe state policing will even not be there. Especially when these ones will now be for them to work for the state. They will not be, they will not be loyal to any state government. Why I am somehow against the state policing is when a governor will be in charge and decide what they will do. But vigilante, if they are trained, being allowed to actually carry arms, for me it will be okay. I just see them as uniform boys, scout boys somehow. Yeah, I have seen their vehicles and also the uniform, very, very okay. But I really buy the idea of allowing them to carry arms, because these guys know the terrain of the environment, just like what you said.
Within that local setting.
Yes, they know, because they are not people from outside. They are people from within. They are the people from that knows these families. Even some of these guys causing mayhem, some of them do know them one-on-one and all the rest. So it will be a nice one if they will carry. But here in Abia State, in as much as we don't hear much about them, Operation Crush, but the name alone will tell you that these ones, there is no way they will not be carrying arms. They will carry arms. Their primary duty is just to make sure that the insecurity in the state is just let's say reduce it to the barest minimum, or no insecurity at all in the state. Operation Crush gradually, just like the last time we spoke with the SA to the governor, he mentioned them and the type of work they are doing. Yes, we might not know, but it seems that they are doing a great job. Let them carry arms and make sure that the state will be safe.
All right. Aside from the carrying of arms rather, we've gotten the Ebubeago in Southeast. I listened to the governor of Imo State. That was that last Sunday. He said that he has his own local security in Imo State. The men have been working. But another issue here is that I always have this fear that why this governor set up this local vigilante security team, I hope they will not at a point or any point in time. Fine, insecurity has been in place, but what about the situation? Decide that, okay, you want to use this body to go against your opponents in that state. It has always been a concern also to me.
Like what I said, you know, like what I said about you know, the governors actually being in charge. That's just the scary part. But any governor that wants his state to actually be safe, for the safety of the state, you know, to be the primary thing, I think I would not want to hijack it, because that's the word right now we always use here. If you hijack the security apparatus in your state, that means you're not serious as a governor or the chief executive officer of your state. And also Ebubago is actually not for one state. The last time we talked about it, Ebubago is more like a security outfit for the 5 eastern states, including Ebonyi, Anambra, Enugu, and Imo State and Abia State. So unless he wants to make Ebubago name his own in his state, because Abia State have named their own Operation Crush, I believe other eastern states will also name their own. But Ebubago at that point was formed just, you know, to make sure that that these 5 eastern states will be safe. But let's say going forward, I want to believe that having vigilantes, those that know what the work is, will be okay for us, because they know the terrain of you know, our states.
All right, still about insecurity this morning. The Nigerian police force said vehicles with unauthorized tinted glasses contribute to the kidnappings and crimes in the country. Force spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi stated this during a televised interview that in as much as we have not gotten their data statistics of this thing, that these people in one way contribute to insecurity in the state. Remember, Sam, this is not just a fresh case. This issue has been there. How serious our police personnel with this issue? Do they implement it? They've talked about this issue several times, yet you still see people for years. What is the level of your check-ins at checkpoints is another question here. It is whenever we have this insecurity in our society, they come up with these measures, with these tactics that we are doing this and we have been doing that.
Exactly. You know, that's a big question, because for years I can't you know, actually say the first time I started hearing the tinted whatever. If you don't have the permit, you will not use it and all the rest. It is more like something that has actually been, you know, happening. They come out, they talk about that. At the end of the day, you still see them doing that. The politicians, well, they told us that as a governor, you're permitted. I think a commissioner of police, you're also permitted, and just few of them. But unfortunately, everybody drives the tinted, you know, glass cars or vehicles, as the case may be, and you don't know who is actually permitted or who has the permit, especially the celebrities now. Maybe our industry is also, you know, part of that. You see celebrities, skit makers, comedians, musicians, do they also have the permit to drive these tinted cars? You know, these are the questions that actually the police officers will only have the answer.
All right, this morning
Hello?
Yes, good morning, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning. Okay, we lost a connection. Please make up your point.
So that is the problem. You know, majority of the cars we see outside that have tinted glasses, do they even have the permit? And you still see these police officers, you know, even being the security guards, you know, to these celebrities. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Hey, perfectly.
All right, this morning we are being joined on Standpoint by a human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Femi Falana. Sir, good morning once again and welcome to Standpoint.
Good morning. I said to say that I'm not a doctor.
All right.
I'm simply Mr.
All right, Mr. Femi Falana. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, we want to look at compulsory free universal basic education and the rate of out-of-school children in Nigeria today this morning. We understand how important education is. As a matter of fact, education, as they say, is the best legacy one can get. It has several times been described as the dynamic agent of social change. According to international human rights law, primary education shall be compulsory and free of charge. But today in our country, one would say, since it was launched by the president Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999, talking about the universal basic education. Things have been happening. Things have turned the other way around. And then the big question this morning is that the objectives of this program, have the objectives been achieved so far so good? So let us kick off quickly, sir. How would you judge or position the universal basic education in Nigeria?
It wasn't actually in 1999. The Olusegun Obasanjo military administration launched the universal basic education.
Yes, as I said.
In 1970.
Hello, sir.
It was actually in 1976. But long before then, the Western Regional Government, under the leadership of Obafemi Awolowo, had, in 1955, proclaimed compulsory free primary education. And that, I can say, has contributed significantly to the development of the southwestern region in Nigeria, whereby it's almost a crime not to have your child in school. In fact, in Ekiti State, we normally say that in every home there is at least a professor. So that was the way what I would call the revolution in the area of education was prosecuted in the southwest. And today, the region is better for it in the sense that the least poverty. I mean, when you're talking of poverty rate in the country, the southwest, has the lowest rate because people have gone to school and people can therefore find some employment one way or the other. And that is not to say that you do not even have now out of school children, even in the southwest, because the government's in power today. The 36 state government no longer gives the necessary attention to education. In the case of Nigeria, since 2004, we've had the compulsory free universal basic education law as an act, which has been adopted by all the state governments through the Child's Right Act. In other words, both the Child's Right Act and the Universal Basic Education Act have made education from primary to junior secondary school, 9 years, free and compulsory for every Nigerian child. Therefore, any child found on the street, roaming the street, under the law, shall be arrested. The parents will be arrested to explain why they are not registered the child in school. You cannot talk of poverty. The government is responsible. The federal, state, and local government shall be responsible for compulsory free education. What has happened, why we have gone to court now, is that state governments have refused to access 68 billion naira in the UBEC fund, in the account of UBEC. State governments are required to pay 50% counterpart fund to access the money. 2% of the consolidated revenue fund of the federal.
Hello, sir.
We are worried that state governments are not contributing their quota towards removing out of school children from the street. Today, according to UNICEF, there are 20.2 million Nigerian children roaming the streets. And it is from that number, from that figure, that Boko Haram and other dangerous elements recruit. Every country today is trying to build a future for their children while we are abandoning our own on the street. This is the problem.
All right.
That is what we are challenging in court.
All right, Mr. Falano, are the governors solely to be accorded blames here? What about the parents? Still under the Act, the same section 2, subsection 2 states that every parent shall ensure that his child or ward attends and completes primary and junior secondary education by endeavoring to send the child to primary and junior secondary schools. Still, that section states that if any parent or stakeholder goes against this act, that person will be responsible and could be charged to court. We've seen situations that parents send their children, even while the day is running fresh, to streets to go and make sales and all of that. So should the governors alone be blamed in this case, sir?
Whether the government will be blamed, should be blamed principally, is that it is the duty of the government to enforce the law. If the government is not providing the enabling environment, if the government is not accessing the education fund with a view to building schools and providing enabling environment, recruiting enough teachers to ensure that the children are registered in school and are made to attend school. Even to enforce the law, it is the duty of the government to arrest parents that are not registering their children in school.
All right, we've seen situations that insecurity has come into to be one of the challenges, and then
parents are poor. The majority of the parents are poor and ignorant.
Hello, sir.
They're not aware that is majority of the parents are not aware that they have a duty under the law to register their children in school. So it is the government that will have to adopt all measures to ensure the implementation of the law.
All right, we
arrest parents who refuse to register their children in school. So ultimately, it is the duty of the government to enforce the law. It is the duty of the government to provide an enabling environment. It is the duty of the government to access the money to ensure that enough facilities are provided so that every child, can be registered in school and be made to go to school for the first 9 years. That is the compulsory free education, junior secondary school, primary to junior secondary school.
All right, sir. Today we are living with the reality that we have private institutions here and there, private establishment. How would this dream be achieved in this situation? We have proliferation of private schools, and then parents also send these students, these children to private schools as well. Is this not also a problem in our society in Nigeria?
Well, in any part of the world, until about 30 years ago or thereabout, private schools were almost unknown in many parts of the country. Yeah. In fact, in those days, only dropouts, or those who could not pass their exams, went to private schools in Nigeria. The public schools were a pride. They could compete with any other public school in any part of the world. So we must fix the public school. You cannot stop people from sending their children to school privately, to private schools either at home or abroad, if they can afford it. But what is important is that for the majority of citizens, the public school remain the only choice they have. And that is why the government must invest in those public schools. And also, even for primary school owners, we have made it clear to them they are entitled to pay some refund from the government. Since every child is entitled to free and compulsory education from primary to junior secondary school. So they are supposed to work out with the government what should be paid to every school by way of rebate, since they are also contributing, those private schools are contributing their quota to the development of education in the country.
All right, insecurity has been another issue. Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another issue here is insecurity. At the moment, the issue has been recorded already in Ekiti State that about 6 pupils were abducted and teachers as well. Also achieving the compulsory free universal basic education. In order for us not to have our children roaming the street, what is the contribution of security in this aspect to achieve this aim, sir?
Then it is the duty of the government under Section 14 of the Constitution to provide security for citizens. In fact, it is stated in Section 14, subsection 2, subsection B, that the security and welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. So it is the duty of the government to provide security all over the country. It is the duty of the government to recruit enough policemen and women. It is the duty of the government to equip them and make sure that the country is safe, including schools. Now that criminals are going to kidnap children, the government will have to deploy, adequate security to our schools. Adequate security in all our schools to ensure that every child, every teacher is safe. It's the duty of the government, not parents, not communities. The government has to provide enough security.
All right, sir. Let us talk about this your suing of the federal government and 36 states and others as stakeholders over acts of school children as filed by you on the 19th of January 2024. What is the possibility of this bill scaling through? This sue, you have sued them now.
Well, I do not expect any government to come to court and say we're opposing this case. We don't want to educate children. That's going to be very difficult. We then have to direct their attention to their duty under the law. But what is important, right? Even if you get judgment, the question of enforcement is also important. We want to have a situation where every state government in the country will be compelled to remove out-of-school children, register them in school, and ensure that they receive compulsory and free primary school education. And that is from primary school to junior secondary school. That is what the law is saying. And that is the hope, and that is the judgment we intend to get from the court.
All right. Is it possible that this thing could be achieved the other way around? Let's just look at the budget of the country at the national level and sub-national government. At times, we do not see the education budget reflecting in a good manner whenever they present their budgets to state houses or assembly. Is it not another way that we could achieve school children roaming the street while school activities are on in the day? Talking about education, budget for education.
The law has already taken care of that. The law is saying, Section 11 of the Act is saying that the federal government will set aside, set aside 2% from the Consolidated Revenue Fund and then put it in an account. State government would then contribute 50% by way of counterpart funding to access the money. Today, 68 billion naira is lying fallow in the account of the UPE. And we are saying state governments have a duty to access the money, and then spend it on UBE. If we can start with that, that will go a long way to address this challenge of out-of-school children.
Now it appears that the issue is on the side of the government, because reports available say that out of every 3 out-of-school children, that you must find one in Nigeria. Has this case become has it become a problem of state governors and even the federal government in the case of Nigeria?
The federal government has its own blame. The state government have their blame as well as local government. What we are saying is that we are asking for a collective effort to address this embarrassing, shameful situation in which we have found ourselves, whereby Nigeria and India are competing in terms of the number of out-of-school children. In fact, today we have the highest figure of out-of-school children, in spite of our wealth, in spite of our enormous resources. So there can be no justification what is going on, whereby we abandon, the government abandons the children of the poor, and already, is bouncing back. And that is why children are involved in crimes now, particularly terrorist attacks. Young people are recruited, young people are abducted by elements, young people are kidnapped, young people are raped, even some parents now also sell their children, So this is a crisis that will have to be addressed frontally by the government.
All right, let us come to the internal issue. The education setting in Nigeria, has it been impactful? let us address this other side of the issue. Sincerely, has the education operation and activities in the country, has it been impactful?
Yes.
Are we feeling the impacts at the moment?
No, what do you mean by that?
Hello, sir. Can
What
you
do
hear
you
me?
mean?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
The necessary,
Of course.
the necessary facilities, the things that are needed, materials that are needed in schools for schools to be operated accordingly as it is supposed to. Do we have it at the moment in Nigeria setting?
No. No. The government is not providing enabling environment. The government is not creating enabling environment for education to thrive. But in spite of the challenges in the educational sector, our graduates who go abroad are able to compete. You know, today in many parts of the world, Nigerian professionals, are running institutions. They are running the health institution, even the educational sector. So we can't say we are doing badly in terms of the quality, but there's a lot of room for improvement. But again, as I said, the duty of the government is to provide enabling environment for education to thrive and for the development, of our human resources. Capital development is key. Is key. The development of human resources is key to the development of any country. As a matter of fact, human resources, are by far more.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. We didn't get your submission, sir.
I'm saying that human capital, right? The human development of human resources is by far more advantageous to any country than natural resources. You will appreciate that some of the countries in the Middle East that are very rich in terms of natural resources depend on Nigerians to service their health sector. So that is why human capital is so important, and the government will have to invest in it if we want to compete with other nations today.
All right, before we let you go, sir, this morning, going forward, so that the real objective of the compulsory free universal basic education could be seen practicalized in Nigeria. I know you have a case already you are handling, but stakeholders in the education sector are also involved in this issue. What would be your address to everybody involved in the education sector?
All stakeholders is to ensure that we compel the government to comply with the provisions of the laws, the relevant laws on education. And I'm not just talking of the compulsory free universal basic education act alone. We're also talking of the Child's Right Law, which every state in Nigeria has adopted and enacted. And under that law, it is equally provided that the government shall ensure that every child is educated free of charge from primary to junior secondary school. All we are therefore asking is that we should mobilize Nigerians to compel the government to create an enabling environment for educating every child, because when you invest in a child, you're also developing a country, so that's our position.
All right, this morning on compulsory free universal basic education and the rate of out-of-school children in Nigeria, we have been speaking with a human rights lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. Thank you so much, sir, for your submission on this.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, you've heard it directly, Sam. Talking about the universal compulsory education for every child. As a matter of fact, we can say for sure what we have been living with. At times you go to these schools, you see children on the bare floor. Most of them they don't have seats. At times they just go there. The human resources that Femi Falana talked about, at times they don't come to schools to carry out their activities.
Exactly.
And then he is pushing that according to law, yes, the section under the Universal Basic Education Act said that government must contribute in order for every child to benefit from these rights. You've seen the situation at the moment.
Definitely, and he said a lot. He really said a lot, and we know him to be a very good representative of the people. He's not the only son in Nigeria, but he's one son that if you mention his name, people will actually pay attention. He is actually for the people. And basic education, I love the part he said something very, very catchy. He said years back, public private school, not everyone. When you talk about private school, people will be like, okay, what's that? He said something about people now that found themselves in the private schools. We are the one maybe that failed the tests or exams in the public schools. You see them using private school as a second option,
the next alternative.
But now it has changed. Even the mentality of the people is that if you didn't attend, or if you don't attend the private school, people will now be seeing you as somebody that is not even, that shouldn't be a Nigerian. We now see those that, go to public schools or government schools as people that, they didn't learn enough. That is how we have failed as, a nation. Even the politicians, there's one thing about the politicians. They are smart enough. Do you know that during their campaign, it's hard for you to hear or listen to a politician during his campaign without saying, I will make education free of charge. They use that one to campaign, knowing how important
already is even in the constitution that education for every child is free.
Yeah. That is what it should be. And they come back when they are campaigning to tell us, don't worry, vote me in. I am going to make sure that education in Nigeria will be free. At the end of the day, they don't do that. They don't pay attention. What will it take Nigeria as a nation to make basic education free of charge? When we say basic education, we are talking about the primary
to the junior secondary.
That is what we're saying. That's the basic. Now, if we can't make it free, what are we even talking about? Which one are we going to make free? The university that we are crying about. So it is a failure, a total failure in us. I'm even including myself right now.
Our guest centered his blame on the government.
On the government.
He centered his blame all through on the government.
Definitely.
Even when we tried to find out, there are no other factors involved, but yet he completely centered it on the government.
And he said
that it is in the law that they must contribute
Definitely.
to.
It's not even optional.
It's not optional.
It's a must. But they have failed on that, and that's what you are talking about. They are listening. Now, the teachers, if you bring it, maybe he didn't get the opportunity of even bringing the teachers in. Now, the ones that manages to teach in these public schools or government schools, how they are old. We hear them crying every day. You see a public teacher, a public school teacher, a government school teacher. Now you will be like, okay, is this woman or this man still living?
And then it is still the responsibility of the government to take care of those teachers.
Take care of them. Because if we say we are building these children to become the leaders of tomorrow, just like they will say during their campaigning, that means we have failed. We are not building them. And he mentioned something also, that is why the crime in Nigeria has increased. Because these ones, we don't even catch them young from the primary school. Secondary school will not. So that mindset, whenever they get to the point where someone will tell them, take 20,000 naira, kill somebody, they will do that because education, the basic, we should have given to them to tell them right and wrong, things that they will do that will stop them halfway. We failed on that.
What's the joy of these governors or government
in general,
not implementing the right of these children?
They don't have any joy, just that they are careless. Very, very careless. You know why? Their children are not here. When callers will call in to give that as a reason, it sounds somehow. But you'll be surprised that even a councillor in a local government, once he becomes a councillor, 2 months, the family will be out of this nation. You see them going out, schooling there, residing there. He will be visiting there, claiming to be leading the people here. So when their families are not here, when their families are actually outside schooling, enjoying what education should be, you see them not even feeling the pain.
All right, 091 60,000 965. Let's bring in our listener at this point also. 091 60 333 965. We're also live on our Facebook page, Rapid 96.5 FM. Let us have your comment on that page as well. You're welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ben.
You're welcome, sir. Good morning.
Mr. Chijok is my name.
All right.
Well, I have heard from our guest, he's a man who always stands for his people. The man I respected. I have respect so much. I have so much respect in the life of Fanala, because he's not a deceiver. That's why whenever he speaks, Nigeria will listen to him. So what I know that since Obasanjo left government of Nigeria, I think education will lose it so much since then. Because I remember when we have UBE, when we have a lot of projects from federal government that makes primary school and secondary school public school to function. Since then, everything got lost. And why we lost it is because of corruption. In a situation, billions upon billions will be voted to Ministry of Education, and nothing will happen. Somebody will just be somewhere and divide that money. Nobody will ask questions. Even if somebody asks questions, they will just close that case just like that. So what I'm saying is this: for us to make a head, we should fight corruption, because I see corruption as the major problem of Nigeria in every part. I am not talking about only education. In NMPC, in Ministry of Finance, in Ministry of Education,
right.
in Ministry of Transport, in Ministry of various ministries, in fact, and parasites. The major problem of Nigeria is corruption. Until we learn how to fight corruption, we will not get it right.
All right, thank
That's
you.
the major thing.
Thank you so
my
much.
speaker.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ben.
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning to your friends or guests in the house.
Yeah, good morning to you. Incorruptible, sir.
Who say man know there's the name I'm calling from Umaya? Mr. Ben and your friend, happy new month, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We should.
Happy
May
New Month
this
to you.
February be a blessed month to you and your family in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I carefully listened to Femi Falana. He has spoken just like as a professional lawyer and a son, also a senior advocate of Nigeria. It's a welcome development. But what we are saying is how we are going to provide solution to out of school children. I carefully listened to him. We shouldn't be blaming both past administrations where they didn't get it right. And we should concentrate on how to provide solution to out of school children in this country today. Nigeria has more than enough to make this place this country a free education country. In as much as they say that nothing is free, even in Freetown. But Nigerians can, with resources of money. When we talk about our constitution of today, it pains me so much where they allege, where they accumulate a lot of wealth to politicians and leave the citizens to be suffering unnecessarily. And the government, both federal, state, local government, are they not the ones that are supposed to be implementing these policies that will affect positively to the lives of a common man in the village? We talk about these politicians, you consider that their children, most of their children, 90% of their children are not schooling in Nigeria, and most of them are 95% of them are not schooling in public school or didn't go to public school. When we were growing up, we went to public school. Fortunately, we were competing. Public school was one of the best, even to compare with private school, because the people that established this private school are the ones that worked in public government school. Please. And when they get retired, when they are retired, they go and open their private schools and become proprietor or proprietors to the schools. So I am praying that the government of the day, since the budget of the Mr. President decided to look inwards to make sure that our education become a better thing. Right. So the state governors and the local government people should follow suit.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. We truly appreciate it. Good morning and welcome. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. Your name and location, please.
Israel Jonah from Israel North.
All right, Israel, you're welcome.
Yeah, I love your program, Ben. I also commend your second in the series.
Thank you.
We are talking about insecurity in this country. Truly, it has been hard burden to every Nigerian today. What this people are doing. The so-called bandits and the terrorists and all the kidnappers and all that, all of them should be rated as well. Again, corruption has been in the blood of every Nigerian.
Every.
It is rare you find somebody.
You can't say in the blood of every Nigerian. There are persons.
I got to say. Sorry, let me express myself.
Yeah, you have the right to do that, but you don't just say everybody, please.
You are included too. Okay. You are included too.
Most of Nigeria, and most especially the politicians, corruption is running through their veins and blood. In Nigeria, you will discover that government will move or say something and make it free for the masses. You will discover that the people who are controlling it, one way or the other, will see it as means of making money. Here something, okay, take for instance, this name we are talking about. We are supposed to go to the local government or any area where it is, then get it free.
Get it free.
Enroll, give your data, your information, and all that, and get this thing. But you go there, they must expect you. If you refuse to do it, the person you are in.
All right, your time is up. Just round off your point, please.
You will not like, I will not do it except you do this. If you cannot do it, find your way. Then, sorry, please let me round up.
All right.
This issue of insecurity, let them go for local policing or rural policing or vigilante groups. And these guys, they know them better.
All right.
They can be able to assist even the main police force or army to teach us all these guys. That is my contribution.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution this morning. As I said, we are still live on our Facebook page. We have Ike Chukwu's telling also on our Facebook page 09160,000 965 01960 333 965. You're welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Ike Chukwu, calling from Umaya. Ike Chukwu Okorochukwu.
All right.
See, this insecurity, we have immediate cause, rocket science. I think when we're talking about kidnappers, all the whole local government in Nigeria have been kidnapped. Several and 74 local government in Nigeria is under a hostage by government, by state government. So if you're going to address basic education, it's from local government. Where are those funds? Both UNESCO and the one coming from UN and international organizations who are sympathetic to our situation and our population density. Where are they going? Who are those people siphoning those money, kidnapping those money? And those money has responsibility because it has been kidnapped. It is fed the responsibility and signature is what you see today. I'm telling you, it's what you see today. Okay, now, criminal elements have invested in our insecurity. There was a time JTF got down some bandits in the north. They find out and arrested a foreigners now who is from France. You understand? And they have a secret forest airport in Zamfara State. They mine the gold and use the airplane with free end from no destination and land in Nigeria undetected, supply arms and take gold out of the country.
All right, get you could make
who is fooling who?
Right.
Why must Nigerian security allow people to mine natural resources in the north and come down the south to begin to destroy monthly refinery?
All right,
destroy illegal refineries.
All right.
You know, social inequality creates.
Hello, Ikechukwu. Okay, we lost our connection with Ikechukwu this morning. Let's take this before we take our messages. You're welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Beautifully blessed this Friday morning. Well, Moses and incorruptible family.
Yeah, good morning to you.
For this morning, I'm calling from Lorogo in Iguana. Honestly speaking, I appreciate the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. They have sincerely commenced well. Because there's nothing you can do in Nigeria for you to get this insecurity right down in terms of cushioning the insecurity problem. or stopping it, except when you now educate people. When ones are out of the school, what do you think that they will do? The next thing is for them to engage in one issue or the other. As I'm talking about engage on the bad attitude, things that is not pleasurable into the society. But I want to say this. You mentioned of Station 14. That means the thing is stated in our constitution that every primary pupil and secondary should be allowed to access to that free education. So that universal basic compulsory education is supposed to be necessary. Understand? But the government of the day, they overlook it because one, they are not. None of their children is here schooling. They send their school students. Their children outside the country. So that's why anything you are saying. Even though you complain from today to tomorrow, what we propose them will not be there. Because nothing we can say to propose a solution that they will listen to us because their children are not here. They are not feeling what we are feeling. So I don't know. You ask him what can we do or what him as a can do. They say that they will keep on talking. So I don't know whether they have a listening ear. That's the most important thing. If they have a listening ear, they just keep on saying and talking because they will campaign. During their campaign, they will add this to their campaign. They will talk to you from here to tomorrow, so they will allow the education to happen.
Your time
but
is up already.
I attest to the fact that we are not seeing it. Those people are not for us. They see how God will upset them, that they will start having problems between themselves, and then they will dissolve themselves.
That's not that's not a nice prayer, though it is your own opinion, but we don't pray for such. We can still push through and then ensure that things go the right way they are supposed to go in our society. On our Facebook page, Ikechukwu is telling, this is so revealing and one of many unfortunate situations in the state, as most head teachers are suffering and struggling to keep their schools running because the government has failed to take care of the welfare of our schools, but allowed these teachers to bring good reports at all cost. Government schools are now forest with no teacher at work under dilapidated buildings. Gentlemen, we need to change this narrative. Thank you, Sterling.
Thank you.
Where's the Elvis? You are saying good morning, reputable and articulated gentlemen in the studio. The spate of kidnapping and killings in the country calls for serious concern, adequate and urgent reforms. I wonder how our leaders sleep comfortably at night when the entire country is ravaged and plagued by insecurity challenges. May God help Nigeria. All right, an important and interesting topic going on. That one was from Abdul Karim this morning on our Facebook page. Sam, we know where we can access our information.
Definitely.
You can get down there and see what is happening at most of these public primary schools and secondary schools.
Definitely.
But we keep agitating. The interesting part of it is that it is in the Constitution. The Universal Basic Act 2004 states that the government must contribute. Must shall do that, and also it pronounced and mentioned the parents also who have the responsibility to ensure that these children go out of their comfort zone while school is on. They go take lectures, return to their houses. So it's a lot of issues and that we must give attention to at all levels also.
Definitely. You know, our problem in Nigeria generally is not something we don't know. We know. And the solution is also not something we don't know or things we don't know. We know. It's just for us to be very truthful to ourselves. Are we ready to do that? What is it going to take us to, make a basic education free in Nigeria? It will take us nothing because we spend billions. Yesterday we got the information. Someone said that for us to fly from Abuja to Lagos, from Lagos to Abuja in a year, we spend 1 billion naira. And it's not you, Ben Moses. I'm not the one.
No.
That's politicians. Just few of them. So if you can spend that amount, flying from Abuja to Lagos, Lagos to Abuja in 1 year, we spend 1 billion. We can use half of that money to make sure that schools in we are just 36 states, including Abuja. We have money. We are blessed in Nigeria. We can do that. Make the education in Nigeria basic for the children. Build them. If actually they are leaders of tomorrow.
It's not much. Just 9 years.
We can do that. But we are not truthful to ourselves. Right. We have made politicians see themselves as lords. They are now kings while we are there for them. Whereas we are the kingmakers. Kings and kingmakers. Who should be stronger? The kingmakers, actually. Well, let's see what will happen. But we can't stop talking, just like he said. He said so many things that actually got me, listening. And at that point, he also says, see, any parent that is actually not doing the right thing,
it is the right of the government to discipline the parent.
Arrest the parent. Can the politicians do that?
Sam, we can change this narrative. That's just the truth.
We can.
We can change this narrative.
With nothing, without any stress at all.
All right. It's been a wonderful time with you, Sam. Thank you so much for your submission.
Thank you.
Earlier on, we spoke with a human rights lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who gave his submission on this issue this morning. Standpoint will return next week, Monday. Until then, keep doing your best in ensuring the development and safety of our society. My name is Moses Ben. Good morning.